It's the last race before the summer break of 2021. Welcome to the beautiful city of Budapest for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's the 11th round of the Hamilton and Verstappen fight for the championship in 2021. After this race, we take 3 weeks off for a summer's break before going on for a triple header. The Belgian Grand Prix, the Netherlands Grand Prix, followed then by the Italian Grand Prix that will host the second F1 sprint. A 2-week gap before the Russian Grand Prix, the Turkish Grand Prix on the first weekend of October, Japan 7 days later, and a little break before we go over and race on for the United States Grand Prix, the Mexican Grand Prix and the Brazilian Grand Prix. The race on the 19th to 21st of November are still to be confirmed, and at the moment Saudi Arabia is on the 5th of December, with the season concluding in Abu Dhabi on December the 12th. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen now leads the way by just 8 points to Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris is holding on to third place in the McLaren alongside Valtteri Bottas and a strong charge from Sergio Perez. Charles Leclerc has moved over 12 points ahead to Carlos Sainz. They're 18 points and 20 points clear of Daniel Ricciardo in 8th. Pierre Gasly is 9th, he's 9 points clear of Sebastian Vettel, rounding out the top 10. On the second page, Fernando Alonso follows Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda with the drivers in double points, 1 point apiece for Raikkonen and Giovinazzi, and still no points for Russell, Schumacher, Latifi or Mazepin. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead by just 4 points to Mercedes. McLaren have a healthy advantage over Ferrari. Then it's a battle further back between AlphaTauri, Aston Martin and Alpine, all separated by 9 points. Alfa Romeo only have 2 and still no points for Williams or Haas. Friday afternoon means only one thing. It's time for second practice ahead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's take a look around the Hungaroring here in Budapest. 2.738 miles, 14 turns, 2 DRS zones, all located after turns 1 and 2. It's a tight, twisty track. They call it Monaco without the barriers. Start the lap then, got a good exit out of the last corner and hammer it down towards turn 1. Flat out 8th gear before a tight hairpin corner for the first one. Drop down, 2nd gear, control the exit speed as well, open up the DRS immediately and hurtle once again downhill towards turn 3. Take a wide line at the exit as well, catch the grip at the exit to get a straight line for a kink up the hill at 4, ride the exit curb and now turn 5. Flat out, drop down 2 gears if you need as well so you don't run off and carry dead speed throughout the corner as well when the car's lagging. Uphill through turn 6 as well. The 7-8 chicane I find fascinating. Brake down all the way. 3rd gear corners, the curbs are notorious for causing the car to bottom out and spin round. This is the Mickey Mouse section of the track then, through turns 10 and 11. 12 and 13 shaping up quite nicely as well. Hook the inside line with a full throttle accelerator. Downhill now. Turn 12. Late on the brakes. Down. 3rd gear corner, accelerate the exit, use the exit curve as your friend. I love this part of the track as well. Into turn 13, a concrete inside curve provides a fantastic amount of grip. Turn 14, uphill as well. The car wants to drift out wide with oversteer. Control it, hurtle it towards the line, and that is a lap of the Hungaroring here in Budapest. Hello everybody and welcome up to the commentary box for the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix and the second practice session. Despite thinking that we started late, we've actually started early. So we're not actually yet transmitting to the correct people that are listening to us because the radio isn't going to kick in for another 15 seconds or so. So while we wait for that, let's reintroduce the show once again. And we're all set for the second practice session for the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix. This morning was Max Verstappen, who was the fastest. Now we're about to see who can be the fastest on the Friday afternoon. The crucial session for the drivers. It's the same time that the race will get underway on Sunday as well. And in similar conditions, air temperature at 31 degrees, track temperature is at a high 62 degrees as well. Around this short circuit as well, just 2.277 miles. Average speed around here about 127 miles an hour. Highest point of the track comes at turn 4 at 34.7 metres above where the start line is as well. Turn 1 in 2015, Perez caused all the drama late on in the race as well. Down at turn 2 last season and turn 3, Leclerc versus Norris was the battle to watch. Norris forcing Leclerc out, Leclerc slipping up the inside, and that tricky wet, dry race we had for round 3. Same happened back in 2015, but against Hamilton and Rosberg at the 6-7 chicane. Hamilton slipping off the track. One of the moments that nearly cost him the World Championship that year. And in terms of the tyres as well, it's keep an eye out for the C4, the soft, the medium is the C3, and the hard is the C2 tyre compound. As I said, track temperature is up. It's at 62 degrees. Air temperature is at 32 degrees, but that part of the monitor isn't actually working just yet either, as we fly over with the helicopter again around this track as well. 34% humidity. Wind speed is low, which means we should get a quite uneventful session for the remainder of this one as well. And it's dark in the sky off on commentary box, but I've heard Ian Birch alongside me that they are absolutely delighted that this year they're not in that horrible 1986 commentary box where it floods, bees' nests all around, and you can smell food cooking from down below. No, that's just us and how our commentary box smells at the moment. How are you today, Dad?
The Hungarian old commentary boxes were underneath were on top of the cafe.
Yeah, they were, absolutely, yeah. And it hasn't changed since 1986. The windows have not been washed since
1986.
And there's the F1 2021 video game borders as well. That's what our lap attack was earlier on in the session, and reminder that
great for first wins this place.
Oh, completely. What was it? Alonso, Button,
Jensen. I remember where we were. We weren't actually what we
weren't, were we?
Delayed. We were in Scarborough.
Yeah, and I remember watching. Somebody had it on.
So we watched it delayed. Yeah.
But do you remember somebody had it on down on the docks? One of these security guards, and I popped my head around, and we saw Button leading. We think, how did that happen?
Yeah, well, he led a lot more. My favourite Button win was Canada when
that race, yeah.
Seb took the last corner too wide and Jensen darted in.
And it was all down to just one lap after being last 3 times, serving 5 pit stops, 3 drive-through penalties, and still took the win. And yet nobody moaned about him, did they, when Jensen won that race? And yet Lewis Hamilton gets a 10-second penalty and comes back and everybody moans and throws their hands up in the air. If you remember that day, Button took out Alonso and Vettel made the mistake. But apparently for Christian Horner, nobody can make a mistake. But Max Verstappen has made several, even here at the Hungarian.
Max Verstappen should think about all the different little battles he had with Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas last year, where the way he got to second place or third place most of the time was moves exactly the same as that. I don't want either driver to change the way they drive.
Yeah.
This sort of thing is going to happen. Everybody's been waiting for it to happen. I don't agree with the way... I know Red Bull, why they did it, right? Because they want to tarnish the steward's opinion, not the people's opinion, but they want to... They know Max is an aggressive driver, right? So is Lewis.
Yeah.
Right? But Lewis is a fair aggressive driver. And up till that point this year, Max wasn't Max Crash like he was last year.
No, he was quite
Max
capable,
Barge. Yeah. Right? He said there's more to gain this year, so he doesn't take as many risks. Well, I'm sorry, 3 times in that first lap, he took a risk.
Yeah.
And twice, Lewis backed out. The 3rd time, Lewis didn't back out, and that was Lewis's fault, according to him, and according to Christian and everybody else.
We read it as racing incident, even when we were looking back at it as well. It is quite clear that it was not intended and it was constantly switching positions to be a racing incident.
What the steward said was when they got both side by side to the corner, Lewis could have turned in a lot earlier and took the corner a lot tighter. But the other argument to that is what most of the people that have been on the social media are 50-50 about, and what all the journalists are saying is that, yeah, Lewis could have done that, but also Max could have done what Charles Leclerc did.
Yeah, and just swung around the outside, and that worked for Leclerc. Then he had that second mistake at the exit.
The clue is...
and went off the track.
Yeah, the clue is in their name. They're racing drivers.
Yeah.
Right? They race. Right? They don't turn round and give way until the last minute. Danny Ricciardo's made clean driving look brilliant, but he's had his skirmishes all the time because he's a late breaker. You mentioned Jenson Button. Jenson Button was the smoothest late breaker.
Oh, he was
of recent years.
Very smooth, very strong. Always had the racing line on the inside as well, and never took a risk that he didn't need to. Jenson was very calculated.
Do you know, we would not have had two people as world champions if barging and late braking into corners wasn't the norm, and that was Nelson Piquet and Nico Rosberg's father.
Absolutely, yeah, and we still see it at the moment as well with the cars heading out into the track. Just posting the Instagram link over, you can see that as well, and how the commentary box actually looks as well. But they finally get the graphics open. Finally actually got the driver track operational as well, They're all heading out there on the track. And are they heading out there at the moment? Because they know that tomorrow we could have thunderstorms for the race and qualifying, that they all want the data just in case we get the dry. It switches over to dry. Because track temperature should remain the same throughout the weekend.
Yeah, thunderstorms are the only likely thing, isn't it? It was really hot this morning, especially for F3 practice. That for first thing in the morning, that was tremendously hot.
I think
it was about 46 degrees track temperature.
It was very
which
hot,
makes sticky tyres.
Quali, I feel it's really on the edge to sync the gears. I don't know if we can have a bit more.
Are we allowed to put that out on air?
Yeah,
pit lane, yes.
That's what everything.
So that's Gasly just saying about the different things for the qualifying and the race setup as well. It gives and take. You can show a maximum of 10 per session. It's give and take, but they keep changing everything. It's getting confusing.
Leclerc obviously at the start of the session has gone purple in 2 sectors.
And he'd be the first driver. Well, actually, should be, but it's Raikkonen who's done a 1:45.771.
Sainz
Keeps changing.
has gone top now.
Yep, on a 1:21.084.
The first 4 minutes are always like this. It's like the guy that programs everything into the computer has done a great job in the timing scales and the positioning scales to get them all in sync, and I love the way it can flash all of a sudden when somebody has an accident and it drops down. If you think that's Formula One, it's not. MotoGP developed that. They also developed something that on their timing tower that is shown on the screen that we haven't had in Formula One yet, and that is the fact that when they cross the line. When the first one crosses the line for the next lap, there's a little line under him. And then as each one passes, so you know how many are on the same lap and how many have gone past that lap. You know.
And that's what I like as well. It's completely, everything about it in timings and left and right. As Bottas does a 1:18.376. We have a Twitter tweet as well coming in from the fellow pundit on Grid Network as well, which is Adam saying, hi Josh, enjoy the F1 and W Series action. Have a fantastic day and a nice weekend. And hopefully a nice weekend to you too. And hopefully we'll be sharing the show with you tomorrow on Grid Network after qualifying.
I've just been verbally abusing my daughter.
Which one? Megan?
Lazy.
Megan. Why, if you're not doing this one? Megan suffered a lot this morning. She's perked up a bit this afternoon, if you're wondering, but she was a bit unwell this morning. Not with COVID or anything, because of the situation change of the weather
I
here
hope
in the
not,
UK.
because some of them are used.
She never used any of them. But they're just definitely sat there or sat at their lunch break.
When she came to take them, I said, leave some for everyone else.
Yeah, she just wrote, done. But yeah, Megan's okay. She's picked up a lot now. She was jumping around earlier on when she was helping Mum with something. But yeah,
I
It's a
can't
seasonal
believe
change.
2 nights running she's actually been asleep before 2 o'clock in the morning.
I'm very impressed with her about that. Yeah, usually it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
She's growing up, isn't she?
3 o'clock in the morning is Megan's new bedtime.
Yeah, the teenager thing, you know.
I can't. Well, I'll tell you what though, it's going to come in very handy at the late night races.
Is Synthel back from holiday yet?
No, not yet.
Where's he
It's
watching
coming
this?
loose.
Spain?
Yeah.
On the back now, on the side pod.
Ocon saying there's something loose on the rear of the car and on the side pod as well. So I have to keep an eye out what all that one is about as he comes down pit road as well. No, Synthel's still away, and I don't think the YouTube chat's been working at all this morning.
I think it's
too much.
the weather in Spain is from what some of the footballers are saying. It's been a bit mixed over the
Yeah.
last 7 days, depending on where you are.
Well, it's-
obviously,
yeah.
but they've had a few thunderstorms,
The same here as well, actually, because
but
the
tremendous
weather's
heat
hot.
during
Yeah.
the day, and then thunderstorms in the evening.
We've had, I think the weather's also, we've also got limited internet this weekend as well. With connectivity, we've been noticing problems throughout the days as well. Don't know what's causing that. I'm hoping it was the weather. But if we miss anything,
Well,
it's not ours.
It shouldn't be anything else.
No, it shouldn't be. It should
I
just be
did
the weather.
actually speak to a lady at Virgin Media yesterday,
Hopefully they'll solve
and
it.
she said that the routers and that are fine.
Good. Oh, well, it's just a connection
She
issue then.
tested them all, and they are fine.
Oh, great. As Leclerc had a little lock-up down at turn 1. But at Joshua Birch, 99 seems to be the best way to get in touch so far this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, as well, or wherever you're watching in around the world as well. And I know some people are even listening to us at the track at Hungaroring with the limited fans that are allowed there. It's nice that
Nice day for
they're
you.
there, yeah. I don't think there's any commentary trackside at the moment, but yeah, the Dutch fans have made their way in across the border as well, and everyone's there. And it's nice to see the Hungarian fans back. Always passionate fans here in Formula One. They always come down. The last race before the summer break, the kids have just left schools. It's a big one to just send in before you go for a break.
I don't think there's anybody left in Holland, during the summer holidays.
They all
Just
yeah.
tend to. We used to go to Royan and La Rochelle and things like that, and it was always full of Dutch and Irish people, lovely people.
And that actually reminds me as well, because we're on board with Max Verstappen right now. He'll go to the Dutch Grand Prix, hopefully leading the championship. And can he be the first ever Dutchman to win at his home circuit? He's be quite good to see at Zandvoort as well. Zandvoort I'm looking forward to it so much. It's such a track.
I think Lewis's comment of the week must be the one where he said in future he will pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side.
Yeah. Actually, how did we not think about that coming into Silverstone? Jack Nicholls was the one who said that, of course, a couple of years ago when he was commentating on Block Plan Championship, and he said, "I can retire now." I've said that as well. But yeah, Verstappen just running a little bit wide. Perez out there on the circuit as well, and he's breaking in between the two practice sessions about a Red Bull employee who has been fired from the team for a racial tweet. Now, first of all, brilliantly done from Red Bull to sack him. But I want to see what their statement was, because I saw it when we were coming down. And Red Bull, that's Vettel saying there's a filter when he comes back on power. So as I take a look at this, somewhere around, there was a statement that was released by Red Bull. And it was during the break, so I'm already gone too far
Lewis
back.
got a lot of hate tweets.
He did, yeah.
And posts on social media. And he was really happy that he got a lot of encouraging words also from not only fans but from a lot of the industry.
Yeah. Everybody was going back and supporting Lewis, and even Red Bull themselves tweeted support of Lewis, which I thought was nice as well.
And Max did clarify that when he said that he deserved a good kicking, he wasn't meaning Lewis.
No, he was meaning himself.
He said that his dad would have done that if he'd have done that.
Yeah.
His dad would have told him he needed a
Yeah.
good kicking.
I think
Because
yeah.
I was like a number of people very angry with what Max said about that, because it's Lewis is a 7-time world champion. We are so proud of him and all that he does. 20 million of his own money into diversity.
The Project 44. Yeah.
Project 44 to bring more people into not only motor racing but other things, and just give them the help that is needed, extra help that is needed. A bit like Marcus Rashford has helped so much with his campaigns.
There's this free school meals push as well. Yeah, and look how quickly everyone turned on Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, well,
it's been a very unusual couple of weeks. Oh, and Latifi saying that one of the Mercedes blocked him on the track, and that must have been Bottas.
If you're not a Manchester United fan and you are of a certain age, then social media is full of it, and I don't mean the young there.
Well, even look at what happened to Wayne Rooney. I mean, he's been famous in the past for having several affairs and that lot as well. And this time, it looked like he was unconscious and asleep, and everyone's been rallying around him saying about that. It's give and take on social media as well. You're not saying anything about that.
It was true.
It was true.
No, it was.
Yeah.
I know it was true.
Everybody knows it was true. But just to go back to this Red Bull that came out at
how she puts up with that? You know, Colleen's got more money than he has. Very successful businesswoman, right? She must be really in love with that guy. She's never needed his fame because Colleen is a very, very successful businesswoman.
So this Red Bull incident, this is what was put out as well. I'm reading this from Sky Sports.
You're a lucky man, Mr. Rooney, to have a woman like her.
So, Red Bull Racing have parted ways with a team member who used racist language in personal text exchanges. The exchanges came to light after the texts were posted on social media. The individual is not a high-profile member of the trackside team. A Red Bull spokesperson said, "We condemn racism, abuse of any kind. And we have a zero-tolerance approach to racist behaviour within our team. The person in question is no longer an employee of Red Bull Racing. We will not be commenting further at this stage." That's all they've said.
The Red Bull and everything that happened at the British Grand Prix was them being emotional, which is obvious. People will be emotional. There was a cap on the money, and they wanted to make a point that a crash like that, remember that Mercedes themselves with George and Valtteri had the same problem at a Grand Prix recently, right?
Austria.
You know, a crash like that destroys £1 million worth of car. You know, there is a lot of that car that can't be used anymore. They have salvaged what they can, including the engine.
I'm amazed the engine has managed to survive that impact. I thought it was sideways though. So.
Johnny says that in his day, the engines didn't even last the race.
They did,
let alone a season.
They had qualifying engines that would blow up after a couple of laps.
Because these engines, even when they take them off the racing line, they get put in for Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, they just get taken off. Yeah.
If there's Thursday at Monaco, Friday everywhere else, and then they just take them out. It takes them about, I think, who was it? Mercedes did it in 2 hours 30 minutes.
Mercedes 2 hours 30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and about 2 hours 40 minutes for Red Bull. Can take one out and put one in.
Do you remember when these new hybrids came in and in testing the engine failed on one of the teams, and that was it? They were done for the day.
Yeah, done for the day.
Because they just couldn't get it done. It would take hours.
It's like
to
a lot
repair.
of things. You get so used, you find shortcuts to what you can do. And one of the things is to have everything rigged
together. Yeah, to
together.
Just pull it out.
And now everything is bolt on, bolt off. The gearbox bolts off the engine.
It's
right?
quite quick.
Suspension bolts off the engine very easily now. Whereas there was all sorts of things needed to be taken off to get to them now. Before
rear suspension unit now just bolts off and it all breaks away.
Well, Red Bull successfully changed a strut on the grid
last year here in Hungary. Yeah. As Gasly gets P5 and 118.
Brilliant, lads. That was brilliant what you did. Now, Red Bull, I will say, knew what they were doing. They were trying to. It's just the games that they all play. It's just this one was played out in front of the world.
A very
And-
angry world as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Sonoda.
Yeah, Sonoda
replay,
from this morning in FP1. I do feel that Sonoda has a disadvantage being so small. As Johnny said, that when he was racing, and Sonoda is actually about the same height, that it is difficult to judge where your front wheels are when you're that small. And Sonoda's got the halo in front of him now.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, it's even harder. I think the kid does really well, actually.
Just
I think people were expecting too much of him. I know I was, and I didn't. I don't think he's come anywhere near what he could. Obviously, it wasn't my choice for.
no, I would have put him
for the Japanese driver to be in that car, but he's an amazingly funny kid.
I've just
Learned English from the docks, and
And
that's
he was
been
amazing
that's
to
been
go as well,
that's
yeah.
been funny to dockers actually, because I mean, it's like a building site, isn't it? And anywhere
explains his language.
explains his
The
language.
foul language. in
That is
respect.
that is the language that goes on in the garages
Yeah.
when anything goes wrong.
I just heard from Ted Kravitz actually, because I had him in the earphones as well over when you were talking as well, and I had what he said. It's a new gearbox for Sonoda, and it's a new engine as well, and it is taking time. They expect to get him out in around about 13 minutes.
Best
but
thing
it's
is
a
it
long one.
it wasn't a very hard hit.
Surprised it's done the gearbox then. I'm the engine. I'm surprised it's done the
It
engine.
didn't hit sideways. It hit back end. So it's yet again when we had was it the Haas with the
Yeah,
engine and the gearbox hanging off?
Where was that? When was that?
That was
A couple of seasons ago now, wasn't it?
I think that was here.
Yeah, it was Hungary 19 or 18, something like that. It was a wet session. I remember that.
Yeah,
But yeah, the gearbox hanging off. But I am very surprised that
it was Roman.
it was Romans. Yeah, I was very surprised that we could have a 51G impact for Verstappen's Honda engine, and it's fine. A little tap to the wall, and it's damaged the engine on Sonoda's
Yeah,
because it's gone in backwards.
but it's what's been pushed forwards.
Yeah, the
isn't it?
gearbox, because the gearbox would have gone forward.
Yeah,
into
the
engine,
gearbox
yeah.
went on Max's because of
Yeah.
the fact that
Speaking of which, how is the balance? And he's still struggling. So that was Max being told that. Oh, actually, let's hear
How
it
was
from-
the balance?
Well, first time lap, I'm still struggling with the same things.
because the impact was about 50 sledgehammers
Yeah, massive
into
impact, yeah.
into the drive. You know the
the monocoque of the car. Yeah.
no
And the engine,
the into the gearbox through
Yeah.
the
rear suspension, side suspension. What?
driving thing,
Drive shaft.
drive shaft.
There you go. There's one over there, isn't there, somewhere? I swear there's one over there somewhere that we've had. Like a piece of one. I swear I saw something over there. The other
It's
day.
all sorts hanging around here.
Yeah. But so what was I saying?
Have a look. Malcolm the rat. Hey, Mal.
There's no rat. Well, the
It's a
rat.
Siberian hamster.
I don't know. Don't tell Megan that. She'll never set foot in here. She's terrified of the spiders that are hanging around. That really need to be hoovered.
It isn't the spiders that sat down beside you.
Tell you what, though, this commentary box is getting a massive clean in the next week as well.
He says
To
this
get
all
rid-
the time.
No, but it needs to.
Welcome to Joshua makes these things up as he goes along.
Well,
and never does any of them apart
Hey,
from paint the wall.
I painted and I cable tied the on-air sign.
Only because it
together.
fell off yesterday.
Yes, it fell off yesterday, and I couldn't get it back on with the
Because
blue tack.
it's an on-air neon sign, and it was stuck on with blue tack, which dried out and fell off.
Yeah, and it's always handy to have it on as well, because if anyone walks into the back of the commentary box, they know if we're on air or off air.
So the Mercedes are 1 and 2 at the moment, with the Red Bulls 3 and 4. And now we go for a break.
Hate it when that happens as well.
Sebastian Vettel gone purple in Sector 1 in that last lap.
28.258. That's his current sector as well. He's coming out of the last corner now, actually, Vettel. He's on C4 tyre compound and jumps up to P2 on a 118.228.
Wow, nice one, Seb.
He's not that far off either, actually. So that's quite an impressive time. There we go. We had it on there. Russell crossed the line as well. He goes P9, 119.
Do you know Kimi Räikkönen actually had an interview with Karun and Rachel?
Did he?
Yeah, where he spoke for 7 or 8 minutes.
Kimi spoke for that long?
Yeah, you couldn't shut him up, actually. Talking about his kids and how, when he does, he can't wait for the fact that when he finishes driving,
Yeah.
he'll be able to do what he wants and take the kids where he wants.
I heard a rumour that he's already signed a 1-year extension deal.
Oh, yeah, he still loves. He says he's still in love with Formula One. He said he got that out of in the 2 years away. He got that out of his system.
That was 10 years ago now. He's been back. Oh, well, yeah, he's been back nearly 10 years.
And he says
as well.
it changes when you've got kids.
Very
He
surprising.
says you've got
yeah.
you've got more responsibility, and so he'll go when they chuck him out. I think.
I don't think they'll chuck him out for a while. They need
Why?
him.
He's developing the car, and to be honest, Giovinazzi's doing well in that car as well.
Well, Giovinazzi, I think, would stay with it. And I think what we'd also see would be Schumacher rising up from Haas and going there as well.
I do know that Pierre has been touting. Well, someone's touting him
Yeah.
from another team, thought to be blue. So what's
Which
going
one?
on with
Alpine.
Alpine? I never said Alpine. You said Alpine. Are they the
Oh,
only
they-
blue ones?
Well, there's a number one blue. Russell at Williams blue as well.
Well, there's another team that's touting him, and we're not allowed to say Alpine because it is Alpine.
Oh, so it is Alpine.
Yeah, they are interested in because they want a French driver in a French car that does well, right? And I just thought, well, if them rumours are true, poor Ocon.
Oh, yeah, actually, poor Ocon. Ocon deserves more of a French running order than he's got at the moment.
Yeah, well, he's been lying into the public as well this week.
Why is he... What, Ocon?
Yeah,
Well, he's got a contract to 2024.
yeah. Well, his social media's just gone zoom
Oh, right.
because he was asked the question in a press conference of which is the biggest lie that his parents has ever said, and he said Santa, and we all know that's not true.
That's
Santa
unfair.
himself emailed Ocon last night to say he's alive and well, and
And
he's
yeah.
working. He's working on the toys for next Christmas.
And how about that letter that was found in the middle of a...
Oh yeah, in
London? Yeah.
No, I think it was Mansfield.
Was it Mansfield?
Yeah.
Even though the person never lived there, how did it get there?
Yeah, it must have fallen out of Santa's pocket when he came down that particular chimney.
Oh, speaking of, look, we've got Mick Schumacher here, actually, with a little fact saying that he won his
So-
first F2 race at the Hungaroring Sprint Race in 2019. Schumacher's only
I
podium
remember
finish that season consistently was second and third career F2 podiums also came at this track as well. Not
I think
bad.
there's also too much pressure being put on Mick to be Michael.
Yeah, Mick's having a lot of pressure recently as well. So I'm hoping
The
this is
equivalent
working.
is that he is Michael at the start of his career at Benetton.
Yeah.
That's his development at the moment.
If you remember Michael at Benetton as well, it took him 2 seasons to come back into it as well. This is Schumacher's first, as we see him on the big monitor as well. As I'll change that back over. This is his first.
He's not in a
one
good
as well,
car.
yeah. No, he's not.
Right,
And
he's in a car that
he needs the Alpha.
that
Ideally.
is now getting money in to develop.
Yeah. Oh, shit, big slide out the last corner. Schumacher goes up to 15th to 119.817. Not a bad time over there at the moment. As I'm desperately trying to find something out. I think YouTube is actually having a problem at the current moment when I don't think it's actually working as well.
Who
But
was
I
it?
know we're live streaming.
Who
but
was
yeah.
it with in Mazepin was in the press
Nikita,
conference?
yeah.
Was he? Who was he with? Was it Pierre?
I think he was with Gasly,
I think it was Pierre. He wasn't impressed with some of his answers.
He wasn't, was he? No, absolutely. And he did a right kicking as well, if to use the better phrase of Max Verstappen as well. As Lewis
So why is
Hamilton
Lewis
running out there?
just coasting?
He's getting ready for fly lap. Who's got in front of him? Raikkonen in front of him. Russell behind him as well. So they're just going to switch over a couple more positions.
We have
Hamilton
to
going up.
explain these things because we're going to do an audio uplap for those
lovely.
people who can.
So, right, let's go through it then.
And listen.
So Hamilton down towards
Not
turn...
everyone can. Some of it's radio.
Yeah. So Hamilton down towards turn 1. 8th gear flat out down towards 3rd gear. Flick the car in towards the right as well. Control the exit speed. He's got a little bit wide off the track as well as David Croft finally shuts up in my ear. Down towards turn 2 as well. Down 2nd gear. Flick the car in. There's a little bit of a concrete entrance as well at the exit as well. Don't drift it too wide, otherwise you'll run up and get on the AstroTurf on the run up the hill. Now, this usually 7th gear corner, drop down to 6th, control the exit, don't go too wide, otherwise you'll lose the lap. Turn 5 sweeps in. Now you get into the narrow part of the track, which it's always single file. This part is Monaco. 6 and 7 chicane, down into 3rd gear, accelerate, 4th gear, 5th gear, drop down to 2 gears to 3rd as you go into turn 8 and 9. Hold it there, then back up, 5th gear, pull 6th, flat out. Now, if you're feeling brave enough, you can flick the car once again to the right on turn 11, go flat out. Hamilton looked like he did that as he heads down towards turn 12. Drop down into 4th gear, flick the car again once again to the right. Long left-hander now as well on the concrete entrance curb as well. The only part of the track that hasn't changed since 1986 is that curb itself. Last corner, turn 14, also reminds me of the Nürburgring. It turns to spin you around like you're going round on a shoe hoop. For a horse as you come out the last corner, and he stays into P2 on 1:17.039.
Do you know, let's go back to talking about the incident at
Silverstone.
One of the things that was said straight after the race in the press conferences and interviews that Christian did was to point out how much money that crash had cost them with the car.
Was it over $1 million?
1.2 million pound.
And speaking of Honda engines being changed, by the way, we're looking at the garage right now of Yuki Tsunoda. It's up on the jacks. He's not even near anything. So, considering they wanted to get that car out in 3 minutes, not worked at all.
And
He's
that,
out.
that was made laughable by the new evidence that they gave.
We went through this in FP1 as well. The evidence there was absolutely ridiculous. What was
They
it?
spent possibly up to £80,000 on taking a car to Silverstone and getting Alex Albon to recreate
the lines.
incident, the lines on the incident. Right, that was not cheap, and so the argument about the cost cap was just thrown out the window by that.
And I think Christian was desperate to get something back because his team had 0 points finishes.
Yeah, and also I think the FIA's ruling last night, the way they worded it, it was like them saying, you know, are you trying to say that we were doing something wrong? How can I word it? You know,
well, the Red Bull.
They were saying the FIA said that the stewards didn't do anything wrong, and yet it was implied that they hadn't done their job by Red Bull.
And it brings into the FIA's their top honours, really, isn't it? It's like you've chipped the armour. You're saying that we're not doing a good enough job here.
We used to call the FIA all the time, especially.
Well, I think what more could the FIA do from Silverstone? They gave him the maximum penalty of a 10-second stop go.
I think Liberty also enjoyed the publicity.
Well, it's been everywhere this past 2 weeks.
Bernie wouldn't have done it. Bernie would have pulled them into the caravan, the pair of them, and the two team principals, locked the door, and hammered it out so that it didn't happen again.
He did that. Oh, hang on. Someone's off the track. And
he did that with DC and Michael Schumacher.
After that Belgian 1998 scandal when Schumacher ran into the back of Coulthard in that spray and locked them in. He locked them in, didn't he, in the next race in Italy? Yeah. And there's someone off the track at the exit of 6-7 chicane. There's gravel on the exit there. So
that was Bernie's way. He would invite them in, and they'd come in, and then he'd lock the door. And as soon as they locked the door, then you realised that he was mad at you.
Yeah, Bernie Bernie always used to have. He used to have.
Great diplomat, great man. You know, he could talk the
Yeah.
iron legs off a donkey. He could.
I loved how Bernie always had the old-fashioned cup of tea set on his desk to the left as well. Everything else around him was brand new and modern, and yet sitting on there was an old little kettle thing that you put on the gas heater that doesn't work. It's just there for decoration. It's like, why is that there?
And you know, like for a man whose wife, or his second wife, was it
Third wife.
third wife grows coffee beans that
Fabiana, yeah.
are sold in the South America and North America.
Yeah, lives in Brazil now.
Yeah, it's got a little. It's
Bernie.
lovely. I think Martin went out there.
Martin went out a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah. Lap time deleted for Giovinazzi is 1:29.256 for track limits at turn 11 as Verstappen jumps to third.
Verstappen is still only third.
Can't get close enough. And Megan actually said who would top Friday, and she said yesterday in the preview show Bottas, and it's Bottas at the moment.
Interesting thing that Kimi has been saying.
Oh, is it? Hang on, is it Lando who's been off the track? No, I think it's
he
Leclerc.
just went wide.
Oh, he's kicked up some dust as well. So someone's kicking out cement dust.
And Sainz got out of his way, I think.
Yeah, it was Sainz getting out of the way, and yeah,
Kimi.
dust getting kicked up
Interesting
everywhere.
thing. Kimi says the reason he loves coming to this circuit is that it's so intriguing because we always say it's a game of chess. Well, it doesn't matter whether you do one stop, two stop.
Oh, missed the beginning of that. Hopefully, we can pick it up on the
Yeah.
PLC in a sec. I'll leave it open.
Yeah, Kimi says it doesn't matter whether it's one stop, two stop, or three stops that you do.
Yeah.
At the end of the race, you're all about the same.
This track as well has got a unique ability to group everyone back together again quite quickly.
One of the interesting things is whereas Austin is start up to the first corner up a hill, this one's down a hill.
Drop down in towards turn one, and it sweeps back into a hairpin, and then a second hairpin that's even more downhill here in Hungary. So you do get some weird overtakes that often end up on the outside.
Yeah, as you're going round, you might notice that the W paddock seems to be on a hill.
So understeery, it's incredible. Understood.
So understeery, it's incredible, was the radio that Verstappen was on about that we missed. You heard it as well. So Verstappen's now come back into the pit lane. So he's still not happy with the setup of that car. It's a brand new chassis this weekend after the other one got destroyed at Silverstone. So it's a whole new car that they have to get used to and learn quite quickly.
He should do it pretty quick by
Yeah.
P3 will be there.
I mean, yeah, P3 will get back to it'll top P3.
I don't know which turn it is, but at one of the turns, you look on the hill. There it is.
Yeah, turn
There's the
9 and
W
10.
paddock.
Yeah.
Where Lewis has just gone past. Or is
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it is Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the W paddock on that hill.
And I like as well the W Series this weekend because I saw the practice session where Vicky Piria was given a 60-second time penalty in practice. I've never seen a 60-second time penalty being given.
What's she been up to?
I don't know. She was I think it must have been track limits, but it was very weird seeing that pop up on the monitor as well. And Megan will
Well,
be taking
if you're
going
going to talk about people abusing track limits,
yeah.
right? What about Mr. Degrassi?
Oh, Lucas Degrassi's famous Formula E pit stop.
Or not?
They didn't. The car registered as stopped, but he's sliding across the XL Centre. So,
Yeah, in the last week's second race in Formula E, there is a safety car, and Degrassi is 8th, and they go past the pit entrance, and Degrassi nips in the pits, stops for less than a second.
Less than a second, yeah.
At his thing, at his point, and then carries on and comes out in the lead. Because he's just
Under the
behind the
safety car,
safety
yeah.
car's going, and there's a gap between the safety car and the thing, and he comes out in the lead. Right? And he led that race for about 8 laps
Where's my notes?
before they gave him a drive-through penalty, which he challenged.
If I can just get to my notes here that I've got on the matter.
He challenged the drive-through penalty.
Yeah. Here it is.
Alan McNeish
Lap 12 and led it until, again, from 18 to 19.
Yeah, and
29.
Alan McNeish
Yeah.
ran quarter of a mile.
Up and down the paddock of the XL Centre, yeah. So the safety car came out, and then at 14:26, under investigation for the overtake, and then it took a total of 13 minutes before drive-through penalty for safety car procedure infringement. He didn't serve it.
And he actually crossed in first place, but was black flag.
Yeah, 10 minutes later, 14:49, car 11 Degrassi, black flag. So out of the race. How was that legal in any way, shape or form? So Alex Lynn won.
There's the debate. Are the FIA stewards at all these events being listened to now that it's all big business?
Yeah, I don't think so. As we've got a Lando Norris having a little bit of a moment out there as well. Oh, and Norris missed the apex turn 7 because he was sideways. Lightning McQueen just sliding around out there on the track right now. And look, did he damage the front wing? No, he didn't, over the sleeping policeman. We've seen that happened over the years as well.
Yeah, because if you all remember from last year, they're quite high here.
They are very, very
like
high.
Austria.
Yeah. Oh, Perez radio.
There is quite a bit of vibration on these tires.
So Perez complaining about
so
vibration.
it's not only Verstappen with the new thing that's having problems, it's Perez as well.
So he's on the C4 tyre compound. He's been on those for 4 laps and already experiencing vibration.
I was reading one of your contributors, and I agreed with her that you're getting to the stage again where if someone like Perez can't drive that car, then there is a problem with that car.
Another number 2, yeah. And that's the thing. If Perez is now a race winner with Red Bull, he should be able to do it. As Hamilton's had a little moment down at turn 9 and 10.
I think he did that years ago with him and Nico.
Yeah, same part of the track.
Same part of the track.
Skating over. And this is the problem.
He just takes the braking to the limit in practice to find out where he can brake latest.
It's a very hard track to get right.
Did you hear that?
Hard. Yeah.
Brake latest.
Yes. It's a very, very hard track to get right. And if you do make a simple mistake at the back half in the second and third sector, you're off into the wall. Look at Tsunoda this morning as well, as dry ice gets pumped into the back of the engine.
And a new camera.
Verstappen. Yeah, new camera that's up there.
Did they take a infrared one out there and put the normal one back in there?
I think they must have taken the infrared out. They probably want to have a look and see what the tyre degradation's like and what part they can do. And Giovinazzi's had complaining rear tyre failure, and the front is a lot better. He's done 6 laps on the C4 tyres. So the C4s, the softest, red mark tyres, failing a lot. That's not good at all.
What do you have? Do you have tyres that last a whole race? Or do you have tyres that degrade? It's the debate for a long time. We had something like 5 or 6 seasons where you couldn't change the tyres unless there was a puncture.
Unless there's a puncture, and that ended as quickly as it began with Indianapolis, didn't it, in 05 when Michelin had the problem and everything blew up.
The 6-car race.
Yeah, that was a doozy, wasn't it? And we nearly had that again, didn't we, back in 2013, because everyone left Silverstone with Pirelli's tyres exploding, didn't want to run at the Nürburgring, and they're all very cautious on Friday. It was the most bizarre Friday I've ever seen, because we had the teams running limited laps, and everyone's saying, oh no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to race this weekend unless Pirelli can assure us that the car's okay, that there's nothing wrong with it. So I must admit, I was quite surprised about that.
Seb Vettel.
Oh, he's 6 seconds off the pace as he crosses the line, actually. So,
and yeah, he was doing really well at one point.
Yeah, he was he second in this session as well. He was only 8/10ths off, 800ths off, sorry, so he's getting good.
Giovinazzi's
he's just left the pit lane, hasn't he, for practice
on one of the
start.
side views, and he's such a smooth driver in the car, and sometimes that is his problem because it doesn't always give him a lot of control.
Russell,
I think that's if you try to improve a driver's performance with Giovinazzi, it's his control.
Yeah.
He's a very smooth driver.
And we're just watching now through turn 4, and he's quite smooth. He doesn't move the wheel a lot either, which I like to see.
No, very much like Jensen used to, and now Charles does.
On board with Charles Leclerc now, actually, on his front wing, if you're watching the Pit Lane channel. And Carlos Sainz doing a practice start in box 3 as well, as Russell's 2 seconds off in that first sector. So we're very much in to the long runs here for practice 2. Good start, actually, from Sainz as well. And, of course, unlike at Silverstone, you can do your practice starts in the pit lane.
Yeah. And one of the things that we were mentioning about Tsunoda is Tsunoda is, if he loses anything, he loses the grip of the rear wheels. He's,
A lot easier, yeah.
Yeah, I think this must be the first time that he's had such control over the braking of the front and the rear wheels. And I think that's where he's got to up his game. He's got to understand how the bias works better.
And,
because I think he relies on too much front bias and not rear bias, and that makes it slide round when he goes too fast into a corner.
Imola crashed into the wall backwards.
Nearly all of them are backwards, aren't they?
Backwards, yeah. France backwards, Spain backwards. Yeah, it's always been losing the rear of the car and heading into the wall backwards. I wonder if they'll give him all his rear wings that he's damaged throughout the year as his Christmas present.
He'd only sell them for food.
Yeah, he probably would, actually.
That doesn't mean that he's starving. It means the fact that he never stops eating.
Yuki, every time you see him in the paddock,
There's a giant egg on the TV at the moment.
Is Nikita on? I couldn't resist
and
that one.
and you know, that would be his breakfast supreme.
He loves it, yeah.
A big, massive egg.
Yuki Tsunoda is probably one of the most hungry drivers I've ever known. He is always, as you say, he's always eating something, and it's never junk, is it? It's never crisps or sweets. It's always these big meals as well. That's high
Chinese meals as well half the time.
Chinese meals. He's a fan. I've noticed recently he's a fan of lasagna.
Likes Japanese cooking at Honda. Down at the Honda thing. Their chef feeds him more than anything.
He's been having a nice lasagna, of course, because they do nice vegetarian lasagnas. I think not at Ferrari. I can't remember where. Williams, I think. Williams do it because I think Williams one of the first two to try and go veggie vegan for their options. I know Hamilton is pushing it as well with Mercedes, but Mercedes still do
with
them.
his plant-based diets.
Do you know what the best catering is in Formula One? It's still McLaren, and do you know why? Guess what I backed this weekend? The McLaren brownies.
Oh yeah,
those fantastic brownies that I have the recipe for, but
we couldn't get any of that stuff that you put in them.
Yeah, what was it? I can't remember what the recipe.
Nobody was growing it round here.
Oh, don't say that. No,
it's just a joke.
Well, to be fair, I'm biting my tongue with that one.
You bite your tongue.
What was I looking at McLaren?
Why? Silence.
I was just looking at McLaren because they put their recipe on, I think, at some point. I want to try and find it, although knowing how much they like to Instagram.
Yeah, I wonder if now that Aston Martin are there, I wonder if the curries are off the menu at.
That's a shame.
It's what used to
Racing
be
Point, Force India.
Force India.
That's a shame because they used to do great curries. Do you remember curry night? Usually here in Hungary, Williams would do the. What was it? Williams would do the quiz night, and Force India would bring the curries.
Correct.
Oh, they were good ones as well. Yeah, they did tweet it 17th of July last year. The famous brownie recipe. So if you're ready, I'll read it out. Ingredients, and this makes 28 brownies. 460 grams of dark chocolate, 400 millilitres of vegetable oil, 12 eggs, 900 grams sugar, 4 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 160 grams of plain flour, 100 grams of cocoa powder, 20 grams of baking powder, 220 grams of natural yogurt. That's a nice one. We don't use yogurt, do we? That must make it quite sticky.
Oh, John, I think David has in the past.
And 340 grams of white chocolate chunks. Makes
and that
the brownies.
feeds 28 people, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that's an awful lot,
yes,
28 people can be fed for that. Or in Tsunoda's case, 3.
Really? That optimistic? I was going to say maybe 2. He'll eat 27 and give 1 to somebody else. Johnny is on
not
track.
having it.
If you're wondering who the co-commentator this weekend, by the way, is, it's Johnny Herbert who'll take the races as well as Koreans at the Skypad.
Yeah, that's accredited journalists had to be in by a certain date. And
we've missed out on the Dutch Grand Prix because of that.
Sky have also.
Martin.
Martin's... mind you, Martin, it's the end of July, so it's Sandford and Flower Show time,
And he never
and
usually
also
does it either.
Silverstone Classic.
Yeah. And he never usually does Hungry anyway, does Martin? He's always usually misses it. But yeah,
He's always hungry.
yeah. So this weekend, not even Paul di Resta or Anthony Davidson here because they're in isolation after the 6 hours of Monza because you have to
do you
isolate.
think the chat's not working? 'Cause
Chat's not working at all. No, and YouTube's down for their chats as well, so we're not getting any correct information.
That's good. That's good.
That's why Twitter was the
I thought
answers,
everybody
yeah.
had like.
No, that's why Twitter's
deserted
been
us.
there. Actually, the Grid Network has actually got in touch and asked for something as well. It was saying if I can see it as well. In fact, we've got the audio as well that I can play throughout the thing. And this is from Joe Samigo, who's the host of Grid Network, who yesterday evening sent a message that says, "Who do you think is going to be on top for this weekend's show?" And this is what he had to say. This is him on the radio.
Joe Samaniego here. It's time for Pick a Winner. Nobody correctly guessed anybody from last week's Formula E weekend. Formula E won the hardest series to pick a winner. So now it's time for Pick a Winner for the W Series race Saturday and of course Sunday, Formula 1 Hungarian Grand Prix. Comment with who you think is going to win each race. First correct guess is double the points if you're not in the top 10. Best of luck to everyone. Tune in to Grid Live Saturday morning on YouTube.
And of course, it was who was going to be winner this weekend. And I said, I can't remember who I said actually. I went for Max Verstappen actually. That was who I went for to win this weekend because I think he's got the vengeance and he remembers what happened in 2019 and won't get caught out
I
again.
think it also the vengeance will also create a mistake.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think Lewis is much more relaxed about all this.
Yeah.
I think Max is a bit like the old Max, and it's downhill to turn one, and then a chicane, right? I think fireworks.
I'm looking forward to it. Even if it is fireworks, we need some excitement getting ready as well. We're into the last 12 minutes of this session as well.
Well, Andrea Siedel's boys will be ready to pick up the pieces.
I'm so disappointed as well that Lando never got on a race victory last time out because if Mercedes hadn't have swapped Bottas and Hamilton around, Norris would have stayed in second and would have caught Leclerc at the end.
Yep, Valtteri's girlfriend,
Tiffany Cromwell,
Tokyo Olympics.
She's over there, and
I don't know if she's back yet, but she's actually finished her race, hasn't she?
She has, yeah. I got slightly worried when
she did well, apparently.
Another Olympian as well. That's what I noticed as well. But
personal best or something.
I'll have a look on the results, but I got a bit nervous actually because when Tom Clarkson said, "You're the half, the Olympian is over in the Olympics," I thought, do not mention Amelia.
Amelia's swimming.
Who was in the Finnish swimming squad.
Is she in this year's?
I think she is, yeah. And so that's quite awkward, which means in the Olympic Village right now,
Tiffany and Amelia.
Tiffany and Amelia from Valtteri,
they probably had a meal or two.
We understand it was a mutual ending of the marriage, wasn't it?
Yeah, Australian is Tiffany, and Amelia obviously is Finnish, isn't she? Is she Finnish?
Finnish, yeah. And I think also thinking about it, I'm trying to think, is Sarah Hartley an Olympian? Or, Brendan Hartley's wife? I can't remember. Honestly...
You'd have to ask Megan. She knows
Megan
everything there is to know about Brendan.
Honestly, actually, I think Sarah and Brendan were the only... They seem like the perfect married couple for Formula One.
And if Brendan ever gets a new pair of shoes, right, we won't know where he is because Megan did manage to put her Apple tracker in his shoe.
Is that why he's running around saying "Go away, Megan"?
No,
on the map.
He's
I've got it there. It is.
Up at Bond Street in London.
But yeah. Brendan Hartley as well, who is returning to the Le Mans Challenge as well.
Did you hear about New Bond Street, where all the jewellers are? This old lady went in and she was there to value some 10 diamonds, 5 diamonds.
5 diamonds, yeah.
And so they unzipped the bag and she looked at them and she gave her valuation. Then they put them back in the bag, and she then was talking and picked the bag up and put it in her bag.
What?
And so the girl goes, "Excuse me, you've just put the diamonds
Diamonds
in."
in there, yeah.
Oh, sorry. And she brings out the bag,
With a different bag.
and it's a different bag with 5 stones in it.
Oh, no.
Right?
That's clever.
And so, and then the girl puts the bag away, and it wasn't until the next morning that they realised when they opened the bag that it was just stones in it. Right? 5 stones in it. And so
She's got all these.
they looked at the
expensive
CCTV outside, and the police did, and the lady gives it to a younger lady,
things. Oh,
and
okay. So something wrong with the.
I'm losing the rear. I don't know what this is.
Okay, you can come in for a front wing adjustment. Please let me know if you'd like a front wing adjustment.
Yeah, I'm boxing.
You got better than off.
What
yeah, we've
feels-
just got to get that
yeah,
set
it
up
feels
how they had the
completely
other
broken,
one.
so
Each
one
car's
of the
different.
police-
They were hearing that as well.
Anyway, they got her and 2 of the other accomplices, but the young lady with the diamonds has never been found, and it's 2 million quid's worth.
Last time she was heard, I think, where's Megan gone?
I don't know. It's like the Monaco diamond we was talking about.
Oh, that diamond on the front of the Jaguar front wing.
Never found.
Who thought that was a good idea at Monaco to put the diamond on the front wing?
And it was a joke what we said about the fact that, yes, there was no...
The marshal picked it up. Wasn't it?
No,
Yeah.
about the road sweeper who now
Oh,
lives
right,
in
yeah.
a flat near Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, that's not true. But it could be. Although, do you know what I think? I think the diamond was never
Never
on
there. I think, yeah.
I think it was more of a publicity stunt.
I think it was a
glass
publicity. Yeah.
One. Because how are you going to tell? The FIA, plus, would the FIA really have allowed?
Who are you
a
going to tell?
diamond on?
Ghostbusters?
Oh, Hamilton's another Twitcher turned 12 and run over the strips.
Lewis?
Rear end just gave up.
Okay, copy. Pressures look okay.
Lewis not having a good time at all at the moment, is he? At the moment, that
Like we
car's
told Mr.
sliding around.
Sonoda, it's you're going in too fast with too much rear brake bias.
How many laps has he done on these tyres? They're the mediums he did earlier
It's
on in the
our
session.
opinion.
He's put those mediums back on that he had earlier on, so he did 4 laps on them.
Well, he's testing to see
Then he did
the
8.
limits at all the corners of these various different things.
He has done 35 laps on those tyres, according to this calculation that we're seeing on the driver tracker, because he took some softs off and now he's put mediums back on.
Everybody,
they're an old set.
everybody at the track is in shorts.
Whereas in the commentary box, we're in a cardigan. Well, I am anyway. You've got one of your warmer tops on.
I'm still in shorts.
No, but I have gone for the Ted Kravitz sandals, so at least my feet are okay. As at the current pace at the moment, Hamilton would be on top.
Davey loves his shorts.
Yeah, David in shorts.
When it was raining this morning, he was really upset that he couldn't. He had to wear
The trousers,
jeans.
yeah. I never thought David would be a shorts convert.
No, but
Different styles.
does a lot of gardening.
Yeah, you see the flowers. I wish you could fix in here though. For a little bit more. Oh, look at that! The Terminator Toto Eye on board right now as well. Toto,
I don't know what you mean.
he was one of the most relaxed people when it came to this last 2 weeks. He knew nothing was going to happen with it, so he was fine.
He actually said that they were just blowing out hair.
Yeah. And honestly, I do also want to know.
It was only the fact that they made such a fuss that got
Yeah.
Lewis the actual
10-second penalty,
10-second penalty.
I
And
want to know why Christian thought he could change the result after that as well, because he already got his penalty. How could he think he could block Hamilton?
there were a number of people on social media and in the press that have said it's just sour grapes. But it is Christian's job to try and do whatever he can to improve Red Bull's position in this championship.
Mm.
And if he has to do this, well, he has to do it.
I'm kind of.
It's been happening in Formula One. It just doesn't usually get played out in public. It's been happening since the year dot in Formula One.
Well, the only reason it's happening in public as well, because after Verstappen was when we were on air actually for the review session of the British Grand Prix, Megan got a notification that Max had put out an Instagram post, and I read it out on air. And he said, I find it very unsporting and disappointing that Mercedes are celebrating while I'm in hospital. It's like, well, you're only in hospital because you're there for a quick scan, but you're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with you. There was nothing wrong with Verstappen at all. He was checked to the medical centre. He was fine. The only reason he went to the hospital was because it was 51G impact and it's procedure. So there was nothing wrong with him. If there was something wrong with him, he wouldn't have left the medical centre.
Senior officials, including Christian, told Mercedes that he was fine and had only gone to the hospital for a checkup.
Yeah, and so why wouldn't? If Norris had won, he would have celebrated. If Leclerc had won, as was the plan.
Johnny says that when he had his accident and his foot was nearly severed, it was hanging by the skin.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes you squeal every time.
Yeah. And that's why Johnny walks how he does.
Oh, hang on. What's this?
He said there was celebrations when
what?
they won.
Hang on. What on earth is going on right now? They've got a water box that is being drained, something from the front wing. I don't know what that is. Actually, they weren't just pouring it. They were putting something in the front wing there. Some sort of ballast, maybe? Because that's in the front wing, so that's nowhere near. That front wing is that where they were putting it was nowhere near where you see the brake
ducts. To be honest, it looked like a brake, a brake cylinder. Overfill cylinder.
On the front wing, though, that's.
Could it be something? It's not supposed to be anything in there that can be part of the mechanical bit of the car.
Yeah, it's a neutral point. You don't think that it's a ballast, do you? You don't think it's something to ballast the front wing?
He's just been caught saying that he's having problems with the front wing,
and now they've just taken something out, some sort of liquid out, and put another one in. I've never seen any sort of liquid in the front wing ever.
A Degrassi moment.
What? Yeah, and it's no. Now the brake,
something that's not in the rules, but isn't actually fair.
Yeah, because the brake, the brake cylinder boxes, the coolant, that's usually attached to the front wing.
Front of the
front
thing.
box.
If it's in the actual wing itself, then I don't think that's
not
normal.
allowed.
I don't think that's allowed.
So what would they do with that front wing? That front wing is not connected to anything unless it's fluid for sensors, maybe? I don't know.
No, why would you need a sensor?
My mind is currently trying to work and to find out what if the end plates are hollow.
And it's not just us because
Sky are doing it.
Sky are doing it as well. They want to know what it is as well. And if they want to know, then everybody else who's watching the coverage in most of these things.
No, Ted doesn't know. But Tsunoda's out on the track, by the way. Tsunoda's managed to get out of the track with 2 minutes to go. So well done, AlphaTauri, to getting that car out.
Sky's coverage is what's shown in most of the pits.
Yeah,
and
so they'll all
most
see
of
that.
well, definitely in the press centre.
Yep.
It's FOM, because FOM is largely Sky.
Yes, it is. They merged. Yeah, Sky help FOM produce
it. Yeah.
And that's why at testing it's a Sky and FOM production. And I have never seen that before. I've never seen any liquid in the front wing before. My mind is now trying to think, what could it be? I'm trying to think, is it like, I'll demonstrate this water bottle. I'll come to the camera quickly, full camera. Is it like they've put fluid in it, so the inside of the wing is hollow, and if the front end plates are hollow, does the water throughout the corner slosh? The caps on the things. Does the water slosh around to the other side to create more downforce ballast? So if that's normal throughout the corner, you turn right, it goes left. You turn left, it goes right.
Yeah, I understand what you mean there.
Is it to get more grip throughout the corner? Is it that type of ballast?
Or is it to make the nose heavier so that it keeps the nose heavier down? It didn't seem a lot of fluid, though.
Didn't. It was a little. Is it probably about as much as this is? What you say? As much as left in this water bottle, look. So not a lot of fluid.
Nobody else has got anything in their front wings like that. As you say, when you take the front wing off, the brake cylinders are just in front of the bulkhead.
That's mainly for the coolant and the brake bar wire system as well. I am Bizarre. Well, that is. And I am desperately going
How
to go and
bizarre.
look. So we'll find out for FP3. I tell you what, Hazel Southwell would come in useful right now. She would have an idea what that is, but she's busy at the moment. I think her too is in isolation. So there's checker flag coming out in 16 seconds. And Yuki getting told on the radio it's all under control and all good. And he will get a lap in this session on the soft tyre, which is remarkably good. And well done to AlphaTauri for getting that car rebuilt so they can actually breathe a sigh of relief it works going into practice 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, that, if people are wondering what's the point in sending them out for the last 2 minutes, it's just to make sure that the things they've done work.
Do you remember? Because what they don't want is a Charles Leclerc of waiting, saying, "No, be fine," and then go all the way to the grid. Guys, we've got a problem here. They need to test it, otherwise they'll lose more track time.
That was a wake-up moment for a lot of the teams in Formula One.
Yeah, it was a hairline fracture on the opposite side of the car.
It
They
used
hadn't
to be the
looked at.
norm that if you got it fixed, even if it was minutes ago, just send them out for an outlap,
Yeah,
just to make sure everything's going around the system.
it makes sense. Never say, okay, we're not doing anything for the session, just go out. Because especially, now think about it, if this was a normal free practice 2 like it was last year at 90 minutes, he would have half an hour out there on the track. Because it's only an hour now, he's got it out. So the checker flag is out, Bottas tops the timesheets, and somewhere back in the other building, Megan is laughing her socks off because she has got this spot on for once. She said yesterday that Bottas would top the sessions, and she was right.
She got it right at the last Grand Prix as well.
I know.
in Silverstone.
I think she's spending too much time in the commentary box. She'll be back, Megan, for
No,
practice
she's
3.
not.
No, she'll be back for practice 3, W
do you
Series
know,
and quali.
I am hurting so much at this moment. I really am.
Well, don't worry, you'll be in a second. Let's go through the times then as everyone's crossed the line. It's Valtteri Bottas on top on a 1:17.012. Lewis Hamilton is second, for Max Verstappen third, Esteban Ocon fourth, and Sergio Perez rounds out the top 5. Pierre Gasly is in sixth, Fernando Alonso seventh, Sebastian Vettel eighth, Lando Norris ninth, and in 10th for Lance Stroll. Charles Leclerc is 11th, Carlos Sainz 12th, Danny Ricciardo 13th, Kimi Raikkonen 14th, George Russell's 15th, Nicholas Latifi 16th, Yuki Tsunoda finishes in 17th after just doing one lap, 1:19.671. He's ahead of Mick Schumacher 18th, and Tony Giovinazzi 19th, and Nikita Mazepin is 20th. And I want to thank everybody who's got in touch on Twitter in this one as well, on the
Does YouTube have a problem?
Because YouTube have a problem where at the moment theirs have gone down and the chats aren't working.
Houston, we have a problem.
So hopefully that'll be fixed for tomorrow. And as well, we'll get it on. So drivers doing their practice starts, coming back into the pit lane now as well. Getting ready to exit the session. And I wonder what free practice 3 is going to bring tomorrow as well in terms of overall performance. Who's going to be the next big shocker? As we hear from Mazepin.
Massively burning, especially on the left side. So let's have a look at what we can do because the race otherwise will be a disaster.
Nikita Mazepin's left foot is burning a lot, and he wants to do something ahead of that for the race. Otherwise, he'll be going around with some hot foot. If anyone could deal with some hot foot pressure, I think it would be Nikita Mazepin.
Yeah, it's nice, like, should take a loaf of bread with him and
Toast all the way
toast
around,
a few things while he's round.
Oh dear, toast.
Round, get it?
Yes, round of toast. So Verstappen's actually got out of the car while it's still there.
I have resisted because we haven't talked about the Hungarian political problem that.
I'm saving that for the race. But
yeah, saving that for the race. So I have been practicing my rainbow voices.
Oh, George Zippy Bungle.
Well, not so much Bungle, but George and Zippy.
Yeah. We'll get more into that about the weekend as well. Well, we're desperately trying to find something rainbow to put up in the back of the comms box as well, because we'll touch on it briefly as well because of the.
I thought one of your DVDs for when you was little.
The rainbow DVD. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, the Hungarian government are passing a law, a very, very controversial law as well, where it would ban anybody who expresses the LGBTQ plus under the age of 18.
I remember. White
That is
Rose.
a genius. Look at that.
Yeah, what a position.
19.19A, an old little Marshall hut there. That sounds fantastic. And well done, to those men over there for getting that there.
I remember at White Rose one year when you was about 7 or 8 years old, you bought a rainbow thing. And we were sat waiting for your mum and sister
DVD
to come
or-
out of the clothes shop as usual.
Oh, yeah.
And you're showing me this DVD, and I'm doing I'm doing George and Zippy, right? And I look up, and there's 6 or 7 people listening to us.
Well, you're doing very well, actually. Your Zippy voices are quite good.
Yeah, he was one of my heroes. He voiced a lot of things, and including Doctor Who.
Didn't he? Yeah. And Jodie Whittaker leaving Doctor Who, of course, as well.
Yes, mistress.
K9.
Affirmative.
Oh, I don't know why I've put it to the group chat because it's broken, so I may as well just stick it on the one camera for now. Because the YouTube chat got broke.
Stick it on camera 1, mistress.
We are on camera 1. Actually, I'll tell you what I can do. I can shove it back to the camera without the graphics. That's what I could do.
The doctor will see you now.
K9 and Company. Well, we better head back in then.
Australia had their own K9 and Company. I
We
thought
saw
it was
it.
quite good.
I
yeah.
enjoyed it, yeah.
It was totally different, but it was good. It was enjoyable.
I don't know where it fits in the Doctor Universe, but it doesn't really need to, does it? was
Does
quite
it need
fun.
to?
I enjoyed that. Big K9. I have a K9, actually. A room control one. And I found the controller recently.
Did you?
Yeah, it's in the loft. So I'm trying to get another antenna that I've got somewhere around. You can buy those off Amazon.
Yes, that's very good.
Or just stick a coat hanger in it. That'll do it.
I don't understand what we're talking about now.
There's been an accident in Barcelona somewhere. Or
Barcelona.
one of the racetracks. Hopefully everyone's okay.
Oh, there was an awful thing.
Yeah.
We lost one of the young Spanish riders in a junior.
The road to MotoGP, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, awful. And and
He was
also,
only about 14, and
and sadly, also one of the British superbike riders as well is currently in a medically induced coma after a horrible accident at Brands Hatch last weekend as well, where he flew off at the last corner and went into the barrier head first.
we also had a young grade 8 student summer holidays go for
Yeah.
a swim in Ashbyville pond and drowned.
Yeah, it's horrible
Round
as
here.
well. Yeah. It's horrible that's going on at the moment.
Yep,
Let's hope
keep
everyone-
safe.
Yeah, absolutely. COVID's still running around. Everyone hopefully still wearing their masks. And they still are in the paddock, where hopefully the drivers will remain safe for the weekend. It's Valtteri Bottas topping free practice 2 and tops Friday for only the third time this year. 1:17.012. My thanks to Megan for FP1, my thanks to Ian Birch for FP2, and my thanks to all of you for watching as well. Under very tricky circumstances with the YouTube being a bit dodgy. We'll see you tomorrow for FP3 and the W series as well. Bye for now.